Yeah, it's my turn to intro, right? Well, I guess we're not introing, we're just picking up where we left off, because I have to cut it together.
What is this anime?
This one?
I've never seen this one before.
This one's called
I'll
Night
read what it
Shift
says.
Nurses. It's about some nurses that work a really, really hard job, and their boss really comes down on her. It's like this one nurse, and you think like, oh, this job can't get any worse, but it's a nursing job, so there's gotta
Comes
be,
down on her?
yeah, he comes down on her pretty hard. And there's a lot of bodily fluids to clean up in a nurse's office, so, or, in a doctor's office. So there's a lot of that. Honestly, it's unwatchable. Out of all of them, that is the one I'll never ever watch again. That one, if you, I feel
Aren't
like I
they all
just,
really dated at this point? Like all the ones you put on the list are like real.
I mean, I knew a couple of new ones, but I wasn't gonna put them on the list because that would out me, And I didn't know if you would recognize them if I put it on there.
I mean, or know the names.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I remember that thumbnail.
Oh, I remembered that. All right. So if this one's at the bottom, where's this one? Because this one's like the ultimate classic. It's got like one of the best storylines. All the fetishes. It's average. I don't think it's better than Bible Black. Do you think it's better than Bible Black?
No,
No, I don't think so either.
my wife has an actual story. This is like an anime with nudity in it.
It's true.
It's like Ranma one half, but there's actual sex.
It's good though. I mean, I like it. I remember the name of the attacks and stuff that she does.
Okay, I don't. I think I've watched like once.
But like 2 minutes at a time, right?
I think by the time I found it, it was like old and like meh.
Eh, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm in the same place as you. It's pretty good. It was like the first foray into monsters and tentacle stuff, which is like what you'd consider weird for Japan. But in all
I mean,
honesty,
isn't it normal?
I
It's normal there. It's weird here.
yes, I guess you could say that. But I mean, I think we have them in the right order here. You haven't seen this one, so you don't know how good it is, but it's pretty good. It's a good anime. Good fantasy anime right here.
I don't think you're watching it for that.
Anyway,
Uh,
Gundam Wing.
ugh.
For me, it's like a background show. I appreciate Gundam Wing. I appreciate the Gundam designs. I like the characters. In comparison to all of the other Gundams, it's probably the most entertaining. But for me, it's a background
But
show.
yeah, but basically what you just said is that you would appreciate it, but you wouldn't watch it again. That's exactly what you said.
I guess you're right. All right, all right. Well, then it would go probably here for me.
I feel like there's still a huge gap between the one next to
This one?
it and Gundam. No, the other
Oh, this one. Yeah. Yeah, from here to here, it's like, whew, like this is like a. That's why I kind of wanted to put it in like background shows because it's not like I appreciate it, but I wouldn't pay attention to it like if I was watching it. But I would put it on
like
in the background.
yeah, but that's now after you've seen it.
True.
Like I think that a lot of iconic moments in that movie is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Are you talking
but
about Endless
it
Waltz?
yeah, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of exposition in the show. Like there's so much exposition, and
yeah.
there's not a lot of Gundam fighting. And I mean that's problematic. And I think it goes there because of nostalgia, because of it's another Toonami one.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, I
Monster.
haven't seen this next one,
Yeah,
so
I built this list, so that's why all the good ones like La Blue Girl and Bible Black and Dragon Pink and Monster Musume. Okay, it's a background show. It's like
is
not
that the
even.
one where like they're just like it's like a guy interacting with like monster girls? Like we're
Yeah, it's the snake girl, the bird girl, there's like a spider girl, and it's like very not humanoid.
wait, is this Is this like regular anime or is this like
No, no, it is. It actually was a regular anime. It was very lewd,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, it's a regular anime. I mean, I'm pretty sure it awoken some fetishes in some people, but it occupies the same space as like La Blue Girl and Night Shift Nurses, where it's like went a little too far.
Okay, what's this next one? Oh,
Uh,
it's Dragon Maid. The thing is like I look at it and I don't see the Dragon Maid. It's at the back.
you see Kobayashi, yeah.
Mm,
Um, it's average for me. It's okay.
I like it, but I think it's very niche.
Hmm.
And like I think it's one of those ones where like because it's self-contained, like the episodes usually,
Yep.
it's like good to watch one episode where a lot of these shows is not good to just watch one,
Hmm.
right? Where like Azumanga like those kind of ones where you can watch one episode and be
Right.
like, okay, or like Lucky Star,
Spy
like
Family.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So
So I
I would put this right below Spy X Family. It might go above it. What do you think?
um I think the animation's much better.
I do too. That's why it's above Spider and Slime. I think it's because the animation kind of what's I want to say props it up.
I mean I would probably put it above Goblin Slayer for me
Really?
because like I'll never watch Goblin Slayer again, but I think that realistically the only thing I remember about Goblin Slayer is like that first episode
Yeah, it's true.
because like that first episode is terrible, but there's like a bunch of moments in that show. Like I'm fine with moving it up, and you don't have to put
If
it
we're gonna
there,
move it
but
up, I
like
want to
that's what it's for me.
I'm gonna restructure. I would like to do this, and I would like to do this. Are you okay with that?
How much of Food Wars did you watch?
Almost all of it.
Okay, so I only watched like a couple of those episodes. So like
It's you wouldn't enjoy it, I don't think, because it's not, you know.
it's too lewd, and like I understand what it is, and it's one of those ones where it's just like not for me, and I can't divorce myself from like looking at it objectively.
Mhm. I think okay, so it's got all the shonen tropes with like it's like the characters have personalities and that defines their motives and things like that, right? It's got the childhood friend, the rival, etc. And it hits
It's
all
it's
those
just
notes.
it's just Yu-Gi-Oh with cooking.
It's exactly what it is. That's a good way to put it. And honestly, it's the cooking that elevates it. If it's not the nudity, it's not the characters, it's not the setting that they build, it's the cooking bits. Because when they actually describe the food and how to cook it, it's realistic. It's kind of like anime Hell's Kitchen or anime Chopped or something like that.
So but it's definitely a one-trick pony,
Oh, for sure.
right?
But I think everything on this list is a one-trick pony. Like the more you look at
I don't know. I think there's a lot of tricks in Love Locker.
it. All right. Shield Hero. Shield Hero's in the average shows for me too. But it's like right above. It's like right in between these two isekais for me.
Okay, so I I feel like we have to talk about this because like if it had been the first season contained, I would probably put it in the tier above it.
Really,
But the fact that the second season was so bad
it
and
was
production quality
terrible.
seemed to go down so far,
Well, they had all that
like
momentum from the first season, and they just like crashed and burned. I don't know what happened.
like I was subscribed to the Shield Bro subreddit, and it was. I mean, there's a lot of fucking philo reptilian stuff in there, but like with some genuine like people genuinely like the show because they think that that first episode really throws you off because you're like, oh my god, it's just another fucking isekai. They're like, oh, let me guess, he just joins these heroes and there's no real story, and then it gets fucked, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, the betrayal in the is real. Like you spend the whole first season like really wanting him to get that revenge, and I think that's what drives you to watch it too. Is like you want to see what happens.
And he gets his revenge, and then the second season is just like, well, now it's what I hate in a lot of the isekai. It's like once there's no danger,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, what we're just gonna build something now, and then it kind of gets boring.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Like once we shift to the mundane, it's like, why am I watching this?
they're like trying to um what is it? It's like bring the story to another level by like, okay, now it has political intrigue, and he's raised like the progression of it was very natural. It almost felt like a D&D campaign with kind of like a tragic hero, like, and then it was like, oh, now you have this, you have a following, you can now know more about what's going on politically and like what these kings are fighting, and so now you can influence it. And it got there really well in the first season where he went all the way to fighting the priest guy and like essentially rooting out the corruption in the throne area by meeting the princess and all that stuff. Like it was all really well put together. It was almost like a fantasy novel. Like I really liked it. And then the second season when they revealed the woman on the ship and all of the other powers, you were just kind of like, ugh. Like, well, I don't
Like this is
know.
gross.
Yeah.
Like I don't like this direction. And I feel like a lot of these anime that we're grading, we come from the perspective of never having read the manga, so it's
Yeah.
like so much more jarring.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So yeah, I think it's average.
Uh-huh. 5 centimeters per second. The only reason I wouldn't put
Uh,
this in exquisite is because we have the other one by him on here, which is hang on, let me find it. Did I put it on here?
which one?
The girl who leapt through time. Oh, I
Uh,
didn't put it on
I
here.
don't know.
Okay, well, I didn't put it on here, but the girl who leapt through time, I think, is the superior of the shows. But it would go to the top. I think it's a easier watch than any of these, and
Yeah,
it's
I
beautiful.
think it's much better than anybody else on that list.
Yeah. Do you think it's a?
But it's all
I think it's too amateur to go into the exquisite one because he has better
it
work.
wasn't as like his yeah, it wasn't as like his first thing.
Yeah, it was. I think it was either first or second. Uh,
And I haven't seen it in a long time.
yeah.
Like I'm fine leaving it there, but like I bet if I watched it recently, I would like fight for it to be at the top.
The music is good in it too. It is good, and it's like it's three vignette stories too, so it's like not one story, but they all tell have like kind of the same theme. So I don't know. I think
And it feels very real too.
yes, it
Like
yeah,
so like yeah, I'm fine leaving it in the excellent spot.
it's the best
Watch
excellent.
it again because I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, I have two. And I've showed it to people. Like it's one of those ones where I'm like, if this person is into like romance or something like that, it's like I'll show them 5 centimeters a second. I've shown a lot of girls
I,
5 centimeters a second.
yeah, I know. I showed you on it, and it's
Nice.
like she really liked it, and it's definitely it's definitely breaks the expectation of like, oh, anime is just about fighting. It's all Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, it's not.
No. There's now that's actually like my favorite genre of anime is when it is kind of like down to earth and real. And the only problem is like I feel like a lot of that ends up in manga form, and then when it comes to anime form, it gets ruined. So I tend to read the mangas now. Moving on though.
Are we putting this one in average?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's average. It's actually I think it's a background show. Like probably
I
the
think
top
it's
of the background shows, if
yeah,
anything.
I think it's better than ReZero.
Like the only reason it beats Ajimega Daioh is because like you it has more substance than Ajimega Daioh. But like
Yeah, that's fine.
it's like right below average in my opinion. It's not flashy enough. It's like I don't
It's
know.
a real middle of the road shonen.
Yeah, and it's like it's so old now. It's very dated.
Oh, they're remaking it.
Oh, are they cool? Well, that's not the one we're talking about. If it was the
It's
remake,
not out. I mean, it's not out yet.
oh, well, I'll check it out when it comes out.
Oh, okay.
This is Baki. I love Baki.
Wait. Which one is
Th-
this is the Baki. This is not Baki Hanma. This is not the one. This is not the one from like the 70s or the 80s or whatever.
yeah. This is the
I
Netflix release, the recent one.
I are we putting this one in the orange one or the pumpkin one?
Oh, I think I'd put it in excellent would watch again, and I'd show it to people too. And it's like it's one of
I
those ones where you watch the fights and like you have to watch the thing. I put it up here.
I'd probably put it in between Ninja Scroll and Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot for it, I'd say. It's not
Like
as
I'm more
serious.
likely to watch Vampire Hunter D, but it's the theme. Baki's just a good show in general, and it's so ridiculous, and it's that like hyperbolic nature to it that makes you stop it from putting it at the top. Like if it
Yeah.
wasn't so ridiculous, I would put it towards like way closer to the top. But it is a very different genre than a lot of the other anime on this
It's
list.
also so ugly. It's like the ugliest character designs you'll ever see in your life. So it's like it's so wrong to try to put it in works of art. But it is cool. I mean, it's like I don't know.
The
It's like
characters are very interesting. Like
yeah.
I love how they're like, oh, this is. I feel like every person in this that show is like, oh, while you were living your life, I was studying the blade. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's how every
Yeah.
character.
You're not wrong. Yeah, it's exactly what it was. But it's like while you were living your life, or it's like while you were studying the blade, I was studying how to turn all five of my fingers into a blade. And then they fight God. And God is Mike
Yeah,
Tyson.
like if you just watch the show, like if you haven't watched Baki, just go on Netflix and know it is so ridiculous and it's fighting and they explain everything. It's almost like if it's it's the fighting version of Initial D.
Yeah, I could.
Like in the way they explain everything.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the better fighting animes. Like if you think of things like Megaloblocks or Blocks, I did it again. Megalobox or like what's another good fighter? Like even the Street Fighter stuff, right? Like where it's like you want hyper violence and you want the human body be and like the possibility of martial arts to be pushed to its limits. It's getting pushed past the limits you thought were possible in Baki.
I so if like Hajime no Ippo was in here, we'd put it at the top, right?
I've never seen Hajime no Ippo. It would definitely be in either
It'd
appreciate.
be one of the top three, like
Yeah,
somewhere up
yeah,
there.
exactly. Because I've never seen it, but I know it's like the boxing anime.
Okay, I haven't watched this next show, so you're kind of
Uh,
putting it.
Ergo Proxy, I remember it from it being on television, and I also remember its style. It was a very interesting anime. It came out right around when The Matrix came out, so you watched it because it gave you like the goth trench coat fix, you know, like oh this is
The
Evanescence.
the tech core kind of thing,
Yeah, tech
like
core.
almost
Yeah, exactly, like hackers or something like that.
or fucking streetwear. What is the fucking thing that they do? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I've seen the subreddits,
Oh yeah, no, I
but
yeah,
like that whole style of dress.
it's like yeah, it's like mega goth, but it's all latex and chains and all of that fun stuff. I mean, all in all, it's funny because I put this on here, but I barely remember anything about the storyline. I just remember the aesthetic being really good. So I think it's gonna have to go in background shows.
You're
But
gonna
I
put it
mean,
right there.
I think it's better than those two. That's for sure. I'd rather watch
It
Hajime
it
no
look
Dio though. It's very serious. It's like one of those cerebral
it
ones.
looks like a fucking underworld cover.
Yeah, it does. It looks like, yeah, or like Aeon Flux or something like that.
Uh-huh. Where it's
Yep,
like we're just gonna put the person's face and then that's it.
that's all they need.
You're like, is this person's name Urgo? Actually,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't remember actually. I have no idea. I put that on there and then I realized, well, I don't know anything about this show except that it looked cool. What was another show? What was the show where they had the big giant gun grave? That was another one where I was like, this looks cool. It was basically like
but
Super
it's
Helsing.
shit.
Yeah, but it was shit. Uh, I don't know if our gay proxy was shit. Anyway, on to Fire Force. Fire Force is for me is it's like right here. It's either appreciate it or average. Like probably
Yeah,
like right
I think
here.
yeah, I that's exactly where I was gonna put it. I think that the fights are not as good
Hmm.
as the JJK ones, but I feel like the characters so much more than the JJK characters. They have so much more. I don't know. Like
They're
they
almost the
feel
same
like
characters,
established
but
characters.
like it's more classic anime style. I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen. They're trying to do like the Chainsaw Man, like, oh, these are cool, modern, poor, students, and then when you get to like Fire Force, you're like, oh, well, this isn't as grounded in reality, so we get the D Gray Man slash Naruto, and what's the more specifically Soul Eater because it's the same studio that did Soul Eater.
I mean, spoiler alert, it's the precursor to Soul Eater.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah, at the end of the show, is it that's the last panels? They haven't. It hasn't gotten that far in this in the anime, but I was trying to remember where we put Soul Eater because no, we put Soul Eater in one of the
it was either on
middle of the top.
excellent. It was either excellent would watch again or appreciate but wouldn't watch again, and I think it was because of the ending we put wouldn't watch again. If that's what we did. I think it was an excellent would watch again because it was the aesthetic. It was such a good combination of character and aesthetic.
Well, well, and it's the same sort of aesthetic, the way it's drawn,
Hmm.
and I think that's like what makes me really like it. And it has some like very iconic characters that are in. I say this word now a bunch now that are in the zeitgeist of like OP fucking characters.
Yeah.
Like when I see those fucking TikToks where they're talking about like power scaling and stuff, they talk about Shinra being super, super high on the list
Hmm.
because of how like he can go faster than light.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's very strange to start talking about it. Like I didn't watch the second season because I was waiting for more of it to come out and then, life got in the way.
Yeah.
I feel like when I think about that show, I think I like it better than JJK.
Yeah. I don't know. I
But I
like.
think that's my opinion.
I think JJK is just one step above Fire Force because like I want to see more of JJK, but I dropped Fire Force. I think that's the reason it's above it.
I think the way the show scaled very, very quickly was not good for the show.
Yeah.
Because it starts with power level being very, very low, and then once you get like 2/3 of the way through the first season, power level gets extremely high.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, we can move on.
All right. Devil is a part timer.
Oh, that's a background show for me, dog.
Yeah. No, dog. That's a background show. I'll put it.
Um,
I'll put it right here. That's where I'd like it.
I think it's very interesting, and like for a long time, like the devil regains his strength. Like, not that I'm fucking trying to be an edgelord, but it's like very like a lot of the music in that show is good,
Mhm.
and I find it very surprising because it's very much a slice of life kind of anime.
Oh yeah, it's like a
But
comedy slice of life almost.
yeah, I think if you're looking for that, like it's just like it's like a slice of life anime, but she's the hero and he's the devil, and like you just add that layer on, like almost like it's not, almost like it's the show Lucifer, but like not as sexually charged,
It's
right?
it's
Like
like I think it's inverse. It's like an inverse isekai too, right? Isn't it a guy who gets thrown into the real world from his world?
yeah,
Yeah,
and she chases after him to make sure that she kills him.
that's interesting.
And uh, I'm gonna go with average for the next one.
It was,
I
I mean, yeah, it was very
I
average.
mean I mean we I mean we finished it. We finished it.
Yeah, I think it's the bottom of the average. I would rather rewatch La Blue Girl from beginning to end than rewatch God of High School from beginning to
But
end.
everybody has a red nose. You don't like everybody having a red nose?
It wasn't even that. It's just like it's so not memorable and like I don't know. It was so weird. Remember the fights, like how weird they looked. It was like they animated it strange. Like they had different animating techniques because it's a Korean show. It's not a Japanese show.
I think that a lot of the anime in the middle, the average shows in like 10 years
We won't what?
we won't remember them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I completely agree.
But um because there's not much to even remember. But
Yeah,
like when somebody brings it up, you're like, oh yeah, right. Like it won't be in your mind like really until something triggers it.
yeah.
So
Who's this guy?
I'm
Who's
I
Baruto? He looks a lot like Naruto. What's this show? I've never seen it.
Oh, so you know Baruto's dad?
Baruto's dad? He has a dad?
Yeah.
I think we. I already said Naruto, so I mean,
I, I'm very torn. I'm very
what?
torn
You're
about where
torn?
we grade this show.
It's
No,
not.
no, no, no. I know. No, no. Let me finish.
Okay.
I know where it's going, but the problem with the show is that the only cool things that happen in that show, based on my experience, is when the legacy characters do shit. Because I do not give a shit about any of the new characters. Because Boruto, to be fair, I have not watched all of the episodes. I would hazard to say that I've watched more than like five. And
That's more than me.
but every time they show the legacy characters doing shit, like any of the characters from the original series, you're like, oh my god, everybody's so cool. And then when you start watch Naruto, you're like, this spoiled little bitch. Like,
Your dad is the Hokage, and you're gonna complain? Why are you complaining? You just have to make trouble. You're just making trouble, aren't you?
he's like a kid who acts out because everybody likes my dad. This is my way of rebelling, and it's like I cannot relate to you.
Yeah,
So
Boruto is worse than Night Shadow. It's worse than what? It's better than
it's
Black
worse than
Clover.
Promare. It's worse than Promare
All right,
because like
I'm
that's my way
restructuring
I'm
this.
at.
Hang on, I want to restructure this then.
Oh, that's hard. Because like I literally hate Seku. Like
It is
I
really
hate him.
hard, but like I feel like at least this isn't like a derivative like rip off of its former self, right? And like I want to put Promare above it because at least Promare like they're trying something new. It's like I know it's better than Black Clover. That's what I know. It's at least better than Black Clover.
And they started like almost the exact same time.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna put it above Promare just because I think the fights and the legacy character moments are cooler than the entirety of Promare.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point. But it's like it's frustrating to me every time I see Naruto on the screen. It's like,
Yeah.
ruin the show.
All right.
Next
Cabin.
on the unwatchable list.
It's not. It's really. It was so. It's frustrating. It's better than Baruto. I think it's better than. Because if we're watching them for the sake of like, oh, I'm not gonna finish it, or like this show falls apart, all of these shows fall apart in some way, right? Every single one of these shows
Yeah.
falls apart, but at least Cabaneri looks
Yeah.
beautiful while it's falling
At least
apart.
at least it got through its first arc
Yeah,
before it fell apart.
I actually I'd
Right?
put it above Unlimited too because it looks that good. Like it actually, I think it's better than Attack on Titan. Honestly, both of the shows fall apart, but Cabaneri does it in a lot shorter time frame, and you're not being
So
tortured as
waste as
long.
much as my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, I I know where you want to put this one, and I don't agree.
Where do you think I want to put it?
I think you want to put it further towards the top, and I don't agree with that.
I think I would put it in Appreciate, but wouldn't watch again.
I think that it is. I think it's a book on the way.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to put it. One above Gundam Wing. They're both legacy animes, so to speak. I would just prefer to watch the show about cars than the show about robot politics.
Well, and they're releasing the new thing soon. I think it's coming out this year. I can't
Oh,
remember what
yeah.
it's called.
I remember you showed us the trailer.
Yeah, so I mean that's exciting, and I think it's harder to relate for this new generation because like I think the newest car in the original series is like a 350Z.
Oh, yeah.
So like, or no, it ends with a. Does it end with 86? I can't remember.
I don't remember
But
either.
like the newest cars in that show are like 10, 15 years old at this point, and so they're
Yeah.
gonna modernize it with the new shit.
Oh, that's going to be
So
cool. Get a BRZ in there.
How can you say you love her if you can't even eat her food?